Mutations. Now, you have probably come across some mutations and not even realized they were mutations. We've got this guy with an extra arm. That would be a very obvious one. We can get hand and foot malformations. The strawberry, the apple, you can see they don't look quite normal. The cat with little to no ears, again, another mutation. So chances are you see these and you just don't think mutation. You're like, oh, that just looks weird. Okay, so there are different types of mutations. Deletion mutation is when a base is lost or deleted. So for instance, here we have, it's supposed to be CAT if we look at the original DNA, but this one is missing the A, which then makes it skip, so it becomes CTC instead. That's when there's something missing. An insertion is when an extra base is added. So in this case, it should have been CCT, but a G got inserted there where it wasn't supposed to be, and then you'll notice there's an extra nucleotide at the end. The deletion and insertion can both be called a frameshift mutation. So what that means is that since there's an extra or one taken out, it ends up shifting the codons, and we can call that frameshift. A substitution is when one base is substituted for another. So if a substitution changes the amino acid, it's called a missense. So in other words, since it's not what it's supposed to be, we just call that a missense. If a substitution does not change the amino acid, it's called a silent mutation. So up here, this one would be a missense because instead of proline, it becomes arginine. Okay, and if it were a silent one, this letter would still change, but it would still give you proline, and you'd have to look on one of the codon charts to see what would be possible to be a silent mutation. If you look back at the codon chart, you can see all the different ones that can be giving you a specific amino acid, and if it changes those, then it would still be a silent. If a substitution changes the amino acid to a stop, then it's called a nonsense mutation because it's making it stop early. There's no example of a stop one here, but basically it would take and make one of the codons a stop, and then it wouldn't end up reading the rest. So it would stop with just like 3 amino acids instead of 5. Okay. Or so forth. Here's an example. This table is like a good reference because it gives some of the examples. There's a couple different ones in here, like translocations in here, but it should fit as one of the other styles, but it gets more specific about what's happening with this. There's the example gives you like a sentence format, and then it kind of shows you how like the silent point mutation, you'd still read this word as you, but it's not spelled the way it's supposed to be, but the meaning wouldn't end up changing. So you can kind of look at these on your own. If you have questions on any of this, let me know. But otherwise, these are mutations. You'll be doing some examples of what mutations are and getting some practice with that.